All right, well, I do have a beautiful tree here blooming, so at least there's something nice and green and beautiful on this land. Actually, I have some really nice organic blueberry plants growing here, so yes, these look really good. So we'll definitely have a lot of blueberries for the future. Some of these plants are getting dried out. Yeah, so this is Mark with Trail Adventures. It is July and it is hot out, so I'm sweating. But I'm going to do a walk through the property. It seems like that's the most natural, easiest thing for me to do. Just to talk about the plans, the goals. The goal isn't actually trying to implement a plan. So I've always had some variables in there that were outside of my control. And we're going to talk about some of those variables in this video. So the goal, first of all, this video is to kind of show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So one of the problems that I have here is that I like to go on vacations. I have a Club Wyndham that I got off of eBay. So I actually have a video. One of the next videos coming up is me going to Bonnet Creek and walking around that property and talking about the timeshare, and then actually looking at the garden, some of the plants they have. They have a really small garden over there, but they have a lot of beautiful landscape plants. So yes, if you see your blueberry plants, maybe you think they look a little bit better than this or worse, but yeah, these definitely need to be fertilized. And let's see how much. Oh yeah, they're still pretty full with water. So for the most part here in Central Florida, you don't have to worry so much about rain in the summer, but you do have to worry about weeds. So this is just atrocious. So I have a lot of videos. I've been recording a lot of videos and just do not post them. Some of it's probably because of that goal and planning type of thing. Some of it's because of a confidence type of thing. Some of it's because I want to have this perfect video, so it's like a perfection type of thing, and it's just so hard to put together a perfect video all the time. So I'd rather just put out unperfect videos more consistently. But yeah, I have done a lot of work over here, and I've had a lot of plans and this, that, and the other. So we'll go through and talk about some of these crazy ideas I have and where I've been spending money, and the overall plan that really came to fruition yesterday and will, Lord willing, change the dynamic of the direction that I go, I guess, the rest of my life, maybe, or the next 10 years at least. So, yes, you look at this, you're like, what the heck? Did your property flood again? Well, this is kind of the normal amount of rain that we get, and I just dug down like super deep. So what happened was, one of the plans that I had that I'm not going to do, that maybe my wife's like, I thought you were going to do that. I guess we'll start there and say, one of the plans that I had would be to sell my primary home and build something over here and basically reduce that debt and come over here. So that all sounds good, but the problem with that is a couple of problems. The first problem is the interest rate on that house is low. It does have a beautiful view, and even if I did that, I can't get a bridge loan. I'd have to basically have a loan on 2 properties, and yes, financial issues. Not financial issues regarding me personally, but financial issues with trying to cover the whole cost of both properties, and then really going on over to a property that has interest rate versus the low interest rate on the term that it's at. So I think you get that, all right? Another problem is it is a little loud over here. The highway is back there. That highway sits up, so they'd never be able to build a wall over there per se. And then the third problem, really the biggest problem, is that deep down I know that this property will probably be sold for development. And that is the thing. Yesterday, all 5 of the adjoining neighbors agreed to go into contract on this property. So I've had this property now about 3 years. You know, we are in Apopka, Florida, just like the rest of the world of the United States. There's certain areas, or maybe all areas, I'm not sure. Leave in the comments if your area is included in this. Just has a crazy amount of growth. So basically 0.2 miles up the road is what's called the Kelly Park Crossing District, and it's a high density zoning. If you ever look on Realtor or any kind of business sites looking at real estate, you'll see that the land up there is on market between $300,000 to $400,000 an acre. So that's absurd. About 2 years ago, before the interest rates began to take their rise, we had a young guy that had a property, or his team had a property that was under contract up on Pumpkin, and supposedly it was going to be sold over to D.R. Horton Homes, and that if they closed that out and everything went smooth and efficiently, that he was going to have that person come over here and do a contract on all of these properties I'm going to talk about. And he did promise us like $330,000 an acre. Oh, that's absurd. I didn't believe it, and then I started believing it. But yeah, that number was absurd. We don't fall into that Kelly Park crossing. We fall into a lower density future land use for 2 houses per acre. So with that said, those numbers were always, I don't even care to tell it. I mean, at this point, because that actually should build like an excitement for where this channel can go and what the Lord will allow for me in this time of the Gentiles. So we'll put some buzzwords in there. So yeah, the time of the Gentiles is going to come to an end here. We don't know how soon that end is. Jesus is going to come back. He's going to set up his kingdom. And between that, he's going to pour out his wrath. So yeah, I'm open to, it's not funny, but I mean, I'm just talking about one thing, then boom, I'm just throwing on to you that if you don't believe, God's wrath's going to be poured out on you. So that's not so nice. But it's the truth. So, you know, the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ. Either you bear your responsibility for your sins, or you accept that Jesus bore them for you, and you turn in faith to him and call upon him and be saved. So there you go. You get your little gospel teaching segment. So yes, the videos that I've been doing do talk about this idea of counting the cost. And I'm talking about counting the cost on both ways, both the real world counting the cost of what I'm doing financially with this land and theoretically moving that money over to other land in the future, as I was saying, hey, this is a good thing, or counting the cost for my own personal spiritual life and what I'm willing to commit to with the goal of that Jesus is coming back. His kingdom's going to be established. So we threw in a little bit of sorry about that. We threw in a little bit of a spiritual element there, because these videos going forward are always going to have that spiritual element, and I might up the ante and make it even more, a little bit more intense, a little bit more maybe Bible focused, spiritual focused, and I'll talk about that. So we're going to talk about really the foundation of this channel and what I want to involve in this channel. And I guess I'm going to have to leave it be a broad type of channel. So, all right, well, I was going to kind of throw a number out there, so I will throw the number out, and here it is. Are you ready? Hold on to your seat. So over here you have 2.2 acres. You got my 4.5 acres. You got 2.2 acres. Over there is 6.7, and behind that is like 9.8. So it's a total of, I need to put on a map or a paper, but I think it's around 26. So we're going to go in and list it at $220,000 an acre. So yes, this is a lower density future land use for estate homes, and we are going to list that 220,000 an acre. So you have an area back here that's already going to be designated for a retention pond, and then on the other side, the 3 lots over or 4 lots over, there's another retention pond area in there. You'll have to come back here with the state of the county, and they will essentially dig out and hold their water on their side. So whatever master plan and development's in here, it's going to have to account for all of that, and that's typical. So we've been bringing dirt in. Any kind of investor, they move dirt from one development to the other. I mean, they'll take literally thousands of loads of dirt from here over to Disney, which they were not from here, but I mean from up the road. So a bit of a wet area. I don't think this falls really into any wetland maps. I don't think it does. I could be wrong, but I don't think it does. I think it just shows as a pond. So, but I'm not worried about that. So yes, we are selling the property, and we're going to take this asset and theoretically move this asset, the money, and move it farther out, reduce my monthly debt, and be able to capitalize on that liquidity transfer. I'm laughing because all these words are coming out like, oh man, it's coming to my mind before I say it. So yeah, this liquidity transfer of reducing my debt, having a 10-year plan written down, or mostly written down. I've been trying to learn through ChatGPT on how to take information and where I'm going to store it. So I learned about this Airtable thing, but we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, so these videos are going to start to incorporate that plan. So now we're setting the foundation. We're going to talk about counting the cost. We're going to incorporate spiritual things, and we're going to add some other goals. So here we go. All right, well, let's swing around here again. So let me see if I can kind of change up the tone of my voice a little bit. All the goals for the channel evolved around 2 key concepts. One being gardening, so garden trail adventures, and 2 side-by-sides. So I did a big video back here where I talked about the side-by-side blog, and how I met with Leo, and how I wanted to be able basically to create this channel and sell plants and put affiliate links to people like him, and do YouTube videos, collaborations together. So that way, if you click on him or his link, then they would get really a shared revenue in these fruit plants that I sell. So that definitely is on the table. That's definitely the goal of the channel, is to grow a garden. If it be permaculture, food forest, whatever category of the overall spectrum of agriculture and horticulture, putting together a botanical style, or if it would be more of like a regular traditional blueberry farm, pick your own, you pick. So yeah, all those characteristics get kind of tied up into that word trail. So we'll walk up this way and then we'll swing back down. So let's just keep walking. Yeah, to get tied up into this concept of a trail. So I then in turn have always had the idea of having side-by-sides, and I incorporated side-by-sides into this garden trail, so garden trail adventures. And the plan was, or the plan is, to be able to upload a side-by-side or side-by-sides in the 28-foot ATC Rom 400, connect it to the RV, and then take some plants with me on the go, do special events, head up to West Virginia, head up to Tennessee. So, but the problem is debt. I owe on that, that's paid off. I owe on that tractor, I owe on the RV. So we have a lot of debt. The land's a debt. And I will tell here in a minute a story that I never told. So yes, we have everything in place here. We have the grow racks, we have the solar charge controller, we have solar panels, we have the air conditioner, and then this needs to be wired. So I wish I would have just spent the extra couple thousand from the beginning to have it wired correctly. The reason why I didn't do that was because I didn't want to have it on a converter. I just wanted to have it be able to be tied directly to that solar charge controller and the inverter that's built into that. So we need to finish that project as soon as possible. So yes, that is the goal. That needs to be written down more clearly as the plan for the next 10 years. And the idea, which I've been working off of, is that I'll create a trail, which I have, and which I'm kind of currently working on. And then I'll plant plants on it. And then I'll do YouTube videos. And then I'll sell the plants off of what you see off the YouTube video. So that's the plan. That's the goal. That's the plan. It's in place. I've been doing it. The website kind of stinks right now, but the website's going to get updated, and that is the plan. Now, I think the YouTube algorithm is the long-term plan, whereas I probably need to adapt to some more short-term type of environments where I could basically take what I want for the long-term plan and put it on short-term sales of plants. So if you're watching this and you find out all this information just like, what is he talking about? Or like, man, he's right on point. I feel like I'm right on point. If you want to go buy plants today, you can just say Hello Organics, Amazon, or Amazon Hello Organics. Link over to the Amazon, click on Hello Organics. Make sure you're on Hello Organics and purchase directly from me. So, all right. Well, I'm not quite done, and there's more. The exercise, I'm overweight, so we're going to talk about that. I run an organic company, and I'm not very healthy per se. I don't eat right, so that's like definitely a little bit of a hypocrisy. But I'll say the organic side was never really, for me, so much about healthy eating as it was versus healthy growing, or basically growing plants without natural things that are synthetic. So all the plants that I grow, once I receive them, go into an organic regimen. So not an excuse to be fat, but we're going to talk about being overweight and healthy eating, and then this overall new element that I'm adding in to the garden trail adventures. So I thought about creating like 4 websites or 4 different YouTube channels. I could see why that would be a good idea, but at the same time, having one core channel that explores all these different aspects of what I'm doing. So I hate to say it, the channel is a little bit more about me. So, you know, I don't want to sell myself, but I guess I'm selling myself with all these ideas, and I'm trying to sell plants with that overall idea. So, all right, well, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about creating a golf course out here, a golf course design. I laugh once again because, wait a minute, you were just talking about plants, and you're talking about side-by-sides, you're talking about some spiritual things, and now you're talking about golfing? Man, you're all over the place. I mean, what's your problem? Well, the problem is that I love golfing. The transition from turf management over to plants is so much easier than the transition from side-by-sides over to plants. They're actually opening up a new golf course here in Florida that's going to be built around a citrus farm. So there's already golf courses that exist in that arena where it's kind of like pick as you play or play as you pick. So yeah, you can go golfing and pick fruit. So that's kind of the idea, is that I'm going to build a little golf course in here, even though I'm selling the land, right? We've already established we're selling the land. So we're building a little hobby, a little novelty, a little starter golf course, knowing that it's not like a real golf course. And if I'm at a 50% success failure rate for even what I'm trying to do, then I'll be happy. I'll really be happy if I'm at like a 20% success to fail rate. So yes, I don't have great expectations on the success of what I'm trying to do, but I love the concept. I love watching YouTube golf. YouTube golf is taking off. And really, here's the theme of the idea is I wanted to start was called Verdant Sea Golf. I'm not sure if I'll still use that or not. Hopefully, maybe not. I'm not sure. But it's the idea of green, lush spaces, thriving, beautiful spaces. So it really ties in with the overarching idea of agriculture. So the theme is agriculture is our roots, where verdant sea is tied with our fruits. So yes, we're gonna tie in this element of turf management with agriculture and actually learn more about the agronomy. Am I saying that right? Actually about turf management. As grass grows, as seeds produce. So that all gets tied into agriculture, into the greener space of things, really on the borderline of horticulture and the beauty of things. But really, I think turf management falls into agriculture. So as we were standing up there, you can probably visualize we have the number 1 tee box. So you basically have a 100-yard hole right down to here, and then number 9 green is right there, and then we have our little permaculture river in here that turns into a little pond, and then if we want to overflow it over there, then we can. And then right here, so the hole number 1 will be where we plant our tea trees and some citrus. So there's a citrus nursery that we're going to pull from. So number 1 is our Arnold Palmer signature hole. So you have tea and citrus together, lemon. Number 2 tee box will be right here. It will be a 50-yard lob wedge over this tree. And then it will be over here, the green. So we'll look at that real quick. But along this back tee box is gonna be all bananas. And then throughout the whole property will be the other trees, like the mulberries, passion fruit's fine, olive trees, Barbados cherry trees. So I'm missing a couple, but so all right, well, let's keep going here. So yeah, hole number 2 green is over here, and then you can already see how it's getting nice and green and lush out here with all this rain. So some of this you could kind of see where the Bermuda grass is kind of already there. So this is definitely more like a field type of Bermuda grass. A little bit of the native grasses in here. So once we get to the back here, I'm going to talk about the other grasses and the greens. So, all right, walking to the back, then you will have the hole number 3 tee box. So this will actually be green number 8. So green 8 will be up in here, but we'll come back to there. So hole number 3 tee box. So I don't have the exact yardages for each hole, but we'll definitely have holes that are increments of 25. So 50, 100, 125, 150, 175, 200, 225, and 250. So hole number 3 will probably be like the 170. Well, that'll probably be more like the 200 to 225 yard hole. So that will go into this middle area. I'm like walking back there right now. And then there'll be another tee box that comes back up into here for hole number 4. So the green could be over there, or it could be up a little bit farther. We'll walk up there, or it could be over there. So then hole number 5 will go all the way back up kind of to the middle of the property. Not quite as far up to where I said hole number 1 tee box is and hole number 9 green, but it will go back up into there. And then hole number 6 is the big dog, the 250 yard. So that's probably 100 yards up, or maybe 125 yards up. And then 250 yards down all the way to the back to the property. So then hole number 7 will be, you know, between the 175 to 225 range, up into here to these 3 locations on what I choose. And then hole number 8 will be 75 yards into hole number 8 green. And then hole number 9 will be 125 yards up to the green that is up there. So, oh my gosh, are you still watching? 25 minutes in? This is insane. It is absolutely entirely my brain. You're so puffed up, you're so like, that's how I feel. But you know, everything that I said, if you really listen to this point, makes sense. You know, I'm not gonna feel Like, I'm not gonna feel guilty. I'm not gonna feel like it's too much. A lot of this stuff is just hobbies that is put in a YouTube channel with the intent to sell plants. That's all it is. So to what degree I'm doing that, I mean, I could set a goal and I could set parameters, but I don't really know what the full end plan is. Like, am I trying to have 1 million subscribers and I make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a video, what some other people might make? I mean, that's definitely not the plan. That's definitely not the goal. Am I trying to raise the revenue that was kind of taken from me a little bit from an employee? Yeah, I gotta do that sooner than later. I'll let you know that. Am I trying to enjoy this life, enjoy God's creation, and trying to do that whatsoever things I do all to the glory of God? Am I trying to use the gifts and talents that He has given me to maximize my potential for His kingdom? Yes, I am. So, am I ashamed of the gospel of Christ? No, I'm not. Do I feel bad if people don't listen to it and they turn away from it? And I'd rather not even tell them because of, I guess, the offense of it. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'd rather just, like, you know, they've heard it before. You know it. If you're not a believer, why are you waiting? You know, that bugs me. Jesus' heart broke for His people. His heart breaks for you. He is gracious and merciful, not willing that any should perish. So, yeah, everything I do, even though there are these worldly items, have no real significance and meaning to them, unless in some degree that I could potentially, I don't know. I don't believe in like going and buy stuff and showing that you think I'm rich, that somehow that's going to draw you in to into the gospel, because that's definitely a lie. God never promises that. He never asks us to do that. But He does say, you know, teach them that are rich in this world not to be high-minded, but to fear, not to trust in uncertain riches, but to trust in the living God who freely gives all things to enjoy. So, you know, it also says, let your moderation be known to all men, for the Lord is at hand. So I definitely have not done things in moderation. But anyways, you know what? Obviously, I'm not trying to focus on the negative. I know I have issues as far as where my debt is, but I also probably have some assets that maybe it's time to liquidate those that I otherwise thought might take more like 5 or 7 years to get to that amount. So it is what it is, you know. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity, and vexation of spirit. In the end, what you have or don't have doesn't matter. What matters is are you alive for the life to come? Are you born again? Do you have God's Spirit? Have you accepted His forgiveness? Are you forgiven of all your sins? Do you have an inheritance to come? Not because of what you've done, but because of what's been given to you. So, yeah, there's lots of things that really don't matter in the scope of things. And there's some things that really do matter in the scope of things. And if you haven't added those things that really matter, then you're not, as what the Bible would say, you're not a wise steward of what God is giving to you. He's given you the opportunity to listen, to hear, to accept, to repent, and to believe. So, all right, well, we jump back on that topic. We'll just soon. Let's kind of continue to look at the good and the bad and the ugly. So, yes, I've been running my 2-inch PVC that I've had for like 2 years. I've got it up to this point. I have all new fittings in here to do, I think, like 8 heads. So be able to cover this over there, these tee boxes, and potentially even like a tee box in here, and maybe zone off a little bit of these plants. All these blueberry plants need fertilized again, the weeds picked out. We have a lot of nice little plants over there. Looks like they're getting kind of dried out. That need to be repotted. And we have all the pots over here. We have my Garden Trail Adventure soil that hasn't really come to fruition. Obviously, we have a lot of grass and weeds growing in here, so this all needs to be scraped. Have some beautiful figs growing. Got some bananas. These are more of the dwarf varieties, so they're not growing super fast. We have some beautiful pomegranates, wonderful. Some more bananas. So definitely loving how those look. These look okay to me. Blueberry plants don't look so good. The ones we started off with do. This is an atrocious mess. So, all right, well, let's go see the mess that is in here and the plan behind the madness. So, oh my gosh, there's videos and stuff and this, that, and the other out there of my dream of what I was going to do in here. I mean, I kind of paused because I don't know what happened. I mean, it's like one excuse after the other. You spend money and you don't follow through, or maybe I got busy and I was fine. But here we are. The dream of my little indoor grow shed, and the reality, if you could come in here and watch these videos, walk through here, see these plants that are for sale, and be like, wow, that is an awesome area you have ready for selling plants, if that's your goal. So here's the thing. Here's the cool thing. I mean, without going through the plants, I mean, it's not too bad over here, but we have a lot of plants ready to go. These are all the plants in Amazon. We pick up plants and we sell plants, and we're going to get more plants. So yes, foliage over here. Don't know if I'm going to so much focus on the foliage. I want to, but I really just got to probably stick with the fruit plant plan. So for instance, we're going to be maybe moving over to a 1 and 4 plant strategy, and then a 12 and 16 plants. So right here is 12 plants of Salavaski pomegranates. So there's no lights on. So, but the ones out there you saw were wonderful. So, which are similar to those. We have some other pomegranates. So we're going to come in here, show in the video the plants, and I'm probably going to do more short-term videos on some other platforms where I can come in here and sell plants quicker daily, or weekly, or a couple of days a week, and really start to move some plants. So it's a cool little area. The pots, I love them. We have our little bags of potting soil. So the problem is these are heavy, and the potting soil, great potting soil, but doesn't really have that much fertilizer mixed in. So if I'm kind of advertising it as a good organic potting soil, which it is, but it's not really effective in growing your plants because you need a little extra fertilizer, then I want to make it simple for people. So with that said, you could use this liquid bloom fertilizer as an organic fertilizer. I do have some chicken-based fertilizer, and I also have some other more potent organic fertilizer called Nature Safe. So the company that I bought from, they closed their local location, so it's not as easy for me to pick up, but it's easy for me to pick up. Look over here at this bag over here. So it's like half the price, half the potency. So that was a 1028 or an 835, and this is a, you could see here, I did some videos. This is a 532. So yes, it's not as potent, but it's, getting nice, steady weeds. I didn't even say that weed. Nice, steady, healthy growth. So definitely a good fertilizer. So basically, I'll probably just put like a little, I didn't get that root out of there very good. See, that's not so good. But I don't even know where to put this weed at. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, that fertilizer is great. Or it's good. I shouldn't say it's great. It's good. So that is my phone ringing. So don't think your phone's ringing. All right, well, we did a walkthrough. We were able to kind of talk about things here. Let's just kind of summarize what we talked about. So we talked about the beautiful tree we got growing here and the beautiful blueberry plants, and then the blueberry plants don't look so beautiful. We talked about how we're essentially going to try to sell this land and take the asset and move into another property, which probably could take, on best, a year and a couple months to a year and a half to 2 years. We talked about why I'm not going to build over here, and we talked about this idea of the side-by-sides, incorporating spiritual things into the channel, and then also this idea of golfing, which is tied more to turf management. We talked about all these little toys don't mean a thing in the scope of things, but they serve their purpose. We talked about the plan of putting the plants in the trailer with the side-by-side or side-by-sides and doing some special events. We talked about how the golf course is going to be laid out, all 9 holes. So the other putting green up here I was talking about up here would be up here 5. Talked about how we're going to lay out the PVC, how I started, how we're going to have different irrigation zones, how we're going to have still our little lazy river or permaculture river. We didn't really talk about this dirt, but we've been getting dirt forever. So this kind of crappy dirt will go over there, and we can continue to make our road down in here. So this can continue to be filled in. And then we talked about how this is not a real golf course. So definitely a hobby golf course. In theory, if it did work out, you would basically come to buy your bigger plants for $25 to probably $40 each. And that would give you the option to golf for an hour, hour and a half. Or really, as you walk through, really I want to sell you more than $25 or $40 worth of plants. Then you could buy the bigger plants, you could buy the starter plants, but really it's agricultural endeavor. You need to buy plants. This is an agricultural property for now. So yeah, it's not a real golf course, and it's not like you play number 1, go to number 2, then someone tees off from number 1. No, it's going to be designed for 1 or 4 to 5 players at once in a group on the traditional layout. So, all right, well, we talked about the traditional layout, we talked about spiritual things, we talked about side-by-sides, we talked about gardening, we talked about how you can go over to Hello Organics. So, all right, one long video. How long is this thing? It's 37 minutes. I mean, if you've watched this, thank you so much. I mean, that is a long video. It definitely makes it easier for me. I don't really even think, there's a couple little stumbling points in there, but I don't have to edit the video. You know what? This video is not going to be edited. I'll put a little thing at the beginning. It may get 50 views, it may get 100, who knows? But this is where we're at in the hot summer of July of 2025. Things definitely will be like in this context. Our next video is going to be when we went over to Club Wyndham, Bonnet Creek. And that's going to be a similar video to this, like a walk through that property, talking about some of the things we talked about in here, and then talking about timeshares. So, all right, well, thanks for, please like and subscribe.